Actually makes you wonder if this dip is going to stop dipping at some stage, but I do think there will be a bounce soon. And in this video I'm going to take a look at top 3 altcoins, which I do believe have done such a significant retracement since those highs a few weeks ago. I think are an absolute steal of investment now. So we'll have a look at 3 projects which I think are solid areas to buy, and we'll identify some lower levels, so if the market does bleed out further, we'll get an opportunity to pick some up at those key levels. So without further ado, let's crack on. So beginning with some general market sentiment, we'll run over what's going on in the markets, and then we'll take a look at those top 3 projects which I think have done quite a significant retracement. Don't look to the right hand side, absolute bloodbath at a minute, so we'll just get rid of that. So currently, as you can see, BTC has done a 53% retracement from the very highs to the current lows of this dip. I was saying on the previous video that the potential is that we could come down to test this 30k region again before we do get that bounce to get that continuation of that trend. I mean, if you zoom right out, I mean, this is a daily time frame. If you look at this on a weekly time frame, it does like it's a savage dip, but we're still on the up. I mean, BTC ever since its existence has been on the up. It obviously has had dips on the way, but dips are for buying, that's all I can say. So in terms of BTC, I think there's a good chance that you might get some orders filled if you're looking to potentially buy around that 30k region. I've seen a few calls for 25k, 20k, 15k, but in reality I don't think it's quite going to happen. If you look at this region around here, we had a lot of wicks around here, so I mean that could say that is that liquidity zone. I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6, 7 wicks are there, and then we've had a wick into this liquidity zone too. So I mean that, for me, I think that could be the bottom area. May come back down for a retest before we do start to push on. So in general, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but I'm definitely not bearish, and I do not think that we are going to go into a bear run in short term. I think now, I think we can pick up some more liquidity, and I honestly think it's time to push on. With regards to that, I just want to show you this chart that I've been seeing recently. This is on CryptoQuant. This does show you the amount of stable coins that are on exchanges at the moment. This is signified by the orange line. The black line is the price of BTC. This does give you an indication that either lots of people are selling and either holding in stable assets ready to buy at the lows, or there is new money coming into the market. There's quite a lot. If you look at this, very peak of that line, there's around $13 to $14 billion worth of stable coins sitting on the exchange. So you would expect that they are primed and ready to buy. Like I say, it could get to that 30k region where people are looking at it to buy before we do start to get that push on and get that bounce across the markets, which we're all waiting for, because currently it's not looking too good. But in general, long term I'm bullish, short term not looking too good, but let's just wait and see. This is a Bitcoin market dominance chart. As you can see, we're paced above this well, it was a line of resistance for Bitcoin dominance at 46%, currently pushing above there. There's a good chance, I mentioned in a previous video, that we could push up towards this 52% region before we do spin round and start coming back down, because I do still think we've got a long way to go in terms of altcoin growth before it does come to a bearish scenario. So let's just see. In general, potentially we could get up to 52k region before we do start to head back down, and hopefully we can target this 35% region, which was the bottom of the alt season last time. In my opinion, I think we could go lower than that at some stage this year, but let's just monitor price and have a look at some projects. So let's take a look at 3 projects. I do believe I've done some significant retracements and a great entry point, and maybe we even have a look at some entries a little bit lower than where we're currently sat. So the first project is Reserve Rights, which is ticker RSR. As you can see, this was the all-time highs up at 11.8 cent, and if we have a look at how much we've dipped, which is absolutely crazy, so from them highs to the very lows, we've done a 79% drop. That is absolutely mammoth. You're looking at some altcoins which have done 50-60%, and currently some are even dropping further. I think 80% from those highs is a massive area to buy. So I mean, what we could do is look at placing orders at this, where we this level here where we did dip. So that's 2.4 cent. That is pretty much, if you look at this level here, we have traded within this area of time, we rejected off the area, then we used it as support here, and we traded within this area quite a while. So if I'm looking for buys, I would be considering buys at 2.4 cents. Always a possibility that we could go down to retest these lows here with that move, and that's all the way down at 1.4 cents. But I would be buying anything within this range. If we just look at this on a weekly time frame and have a look at this in terms of a Fibonacci retracement, we'll take it from the very lows of a move here all up to the highs. As you can see, we've still not, well, we've lost that 78% retracement level and hit here. I think this is a bottom, to be honest. I can't see us going any lower, but if we do come back lower, this is the area I will be targeting at 1.4 cents. So monitor the price. If you can place some orders, if you're using a centralized exchange, get some placed down at 1.4. But I think this could be the bottom here at 2.4. So get some orders placed there, and then honestly, I think you'll be massively rewarded. That weekly candle is absolutely horrific considering the growth that we've had. I do think honestly that it's a lot of fear that's driving this price down, and I think it's a solid area to buy. In terms of let's just go back to the daily time frame. I think once we do hit this level, we can really start to bounce up. First level to target, if you're looking to take some profit or withdraw your initial stake, then I think this is the first level here at 4.9 cents, around 5 cents. As you can see, we've used this area as resistance quite a lot, support, so that is a key area for me. I think that is that's the 618 level of the entire move, so that is the first area to target. So we're looking for buys at 2.4 cents. Sells TPs at 4.9 cents. Take out your initial investment and then let it ride, because I do think that once we do spin around and the market starts creating a bit more of a bullish sentiment, I think we can really start to push on. We've got mainnet coming on RSR soon, which is also massive, and I do think that buying in now, I think it could be massively rewarded for getting some reads down at 2.4 cents. Just looking at a BTC pairing too, this has been not as severely savaged. I mean, let's just have a look on the daily time frame. The all-time highs was quite far back, actually, August of last year. In terms of a price drop from those highs down to where we're currently at, we're at 70%. We've actually done quite a big drop in terms of BTC. We did 79% as well. So you could say that I had a 79% drop on Tether and a 79% drop on the BTC pair. So that to me could signify that we have actually burnt out in terms of sell orders, and we could really start to push on. In terms of buy zone, let's just have a bit of a zoom in here on the daily. I think this could be a potential area at 56 Satoshis, the bottom of that move. As you can see, BTC might push on. It is driving the Tether, the Satoshis down. So if you're looking for buys, don't like to say this, but you could even get some filled at 56 Satoshis. That could be the area to buy before we do flip round. First level to target is here at 135 Satoshis. Take some profit off the table, take that initial investment out, and then hold on for dear life, because I think that once this bull run starts getting back into force, we will really start to see some growth across the board. Next project is Vechain. Again, this is another project that's done massive drop from those highs all the way down to the lowest part of that dip, 81%. Absolutely savage. It's mental how much some of these alts are bleeding, and still bleeding. If you look to the right hand side, everything is absolute carnage. This is just pure fear, and some of those derivatives bringing that price down of BTC. So panic, but we will bounce at some stage. If you're looking to buy projects that have done significant drops, I think an 81% drop is massive. You're not going to see it, you're going to be in a lower than that, to be honest. I can't see it going 85, 90. I just can't see that happening. So that, for me, is a bottom there. So that's that drop. If we just look at this on the... Let's have a look where we're going to buy. I think this was the level identified here. If you look at this wick, we'll have a bit of a zoom in. This wick here was the bottom of March last year when we had that COVID dump, so that's at 7.6 cents. I think there's a potential that you could get some orders filled there. The market's looking a little bit nasty, and it does need a place to bounce, so I think some liquidity zone within that range could be the nice area to buy before we do start to turn around and push on. But if we just look at this in terms of a retracement in Fibonacci levels from the bottom there back in February of this year to the top there, we're close to that 786 level, so that now could also signify the bottom. So if you're looking for buys, let's just target buys from this 786 level at 0. So let's get rid of that line. Buys within this 786 level here I think if we did get a daily closure below this, we're going to get some filled at 7.5 cent, but currently I will be buying anything within this range here at 8.7 cent all the way down to 7.6 cent. Can't see us wicking back down to this region again, because that would be an outstanding dip all the way down to that level. 81%, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. So yeah, buys within this region, I think, before we do start to turn around. It's looking like it's coming down to test this level, like most alts and projects, coming down to test some bottom levels before we do grab that liquidity and push on. In terms of BTC, it's not been quite as severe. Let's have a look. From the highs that we created down to the lows, we did a 70% drop, and it is coming down a little bit now, but if we just look at that entire move from the bottom there to the top, could potentially coming down to this level here at 214 Satoshi. So if you're looking for buys, target some there, probably even starting from 200 sats, and then ladder some down within to this range, and I think that could be a nice area for you to buy. So another project with an 80% drop, which I think fundamentals are solid, use case is solid. It's just the entire market bleeding. People are flapping and bringing that price down. Buy the dip is all I can say, because Vechain is an absolutely solid asset. And finally, we will finish off with number 3, which is Zilliqa. In terms of a drop from the highs that we created back in, well, towards the beginning of May, retraced a complete amount of 68%. Not quite as severe as RSR and reserve rights, but it is still a significant drop. It does look like, again, that we are coming back down to test this level at 7.8 cent. That's where we had the initial dump. As you can see, we've used this area of support back in February too, so I think that is a key level. I think if we did close below that level, we will be coming down to here, which is not nice to see, at 5.1 cent. But honestly, I can't see us going down there. I think this level will hold up, and fingers crossed it will. I think it will hold up, and then we can really start to push on. So if you're looking for buys, I think a retest of this area could be happening at 7.9 cent, 8 cent, nice area to buy there, before the market does turn around and start pushing on. So there are your buys at 7.9 cent, 8 cent, and potentially, if we do get even more of a bearish scenario, 5.1 cent, but hopefully we don't get that. We do get a spin around from this level, and we can really start to push on. What we want is a test of this level here before we do start to come up, reject off some areas, and then go on and create some new all-time highs. In terms of price targets, I think the first major target is closing above 10 cent. I think if we do close above 10 cent, the market will have regained a little bit of structure, and then we can start to push on. Currently 8.7 cents. So what we'll do as well is, once these projects start hitting those first TPs, I will jump in some more price analysis and have a look at some other key levels. But all in all, pretty much all the charts look the same, with an all-time high and a massive rejection. So it's not looking too good. But remember, we've always said buy the dips. I don't want to be looking back on this next week and thinking, right, wish I bought some last week, because I think now is a nice level to buy. Once you do start getting some money back into markets, these will turn around quickly. You'll get a few days of 10-15% growth, all then will add up back up, and we'll be straight back up to these levels. Just looking at these Satoshi pair, I was looking for some buys at this level here, so I was pretty much following this trend. We've actually lost that trend level now, and we've come back down to test this weekly support. So if you're looking for buys, I think 238 Satoshis is the level to buy. Can't see is going any lower, but if BTC goes a massive run and takes out my alts, you might get some orders filled here at 191 Satoshis too. So that is 3 altcoins which I think are great levels to buy. And I think you should be buying them up and holding long term, because there's some solid assets with solid fundamentals. So fingers crossed we do start to get that bounce back soon, because I think the whole of crypto Twitter is dying, and there's not been so much bullish momentum or bullish action or bullish chatter recently. So fingers crossed we do start to push on. That's going to do it for today's video. Please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, and I'll catch you next time.